My name's Michael Kille. I'm Managing Director of Impress Print Services. We're general commercial printers. We started out in lithographic printing and we've now spread into digital printing, large format and mailing. We started as just small sort of one-man band and then we've sort of gradually grown over the years to where we are now. We have sort of sales of around sort of 10 million. And employ sort of 78 staff. No, we started on the automation with Enfocus about 12 months ago. It sort of came about because we were sort of struggling with our workflow, and we also had one of our studio staff left. It's really hard trying to find replacements. So we took on an apprentice who's coming on really well. But at the same time, we thought like future-proofing, we just need to be more efficient in how we deal with the work coming in. And we'd looked at Enfocus before, and then spoke to Malcolm about it, and then jumped in really sort of just over a year ago and started setting it up.
When we started, it wasn't really, as it were, like a defined training program. Malcolm showed us how to make basic flows, how Switch worked, but then in a way he kind of gave us the tools to play and experiment ourselves without having a definite, it wasn't a classroom environment, if that makes sense. So everything we were doing was for a purpose, but then once you know that this is the purpose for this, then you can take that to make another purpose.
The improvements and changes have just been absolutely massive, really, to the business. A year ago, we sort of constant queue. We're aiming to get everything, all our proofing back out within 4 to 8 hours. But we were just getting bottlenecks all the time, where a couple of the operators would get stuck on some really big jobs, and then all the small ones would back up behind it, and we couldn't sort of free the queues up. So that was causing delays and then knock-on effect to the printing, and then we were getting pushed with the volumes of work we had coming through. So the installation of Enfocus server has just really helped us free all the straightforward jobs. Are all going through like really smoothly now in the background to the point now is we can just email in the artwork with a job reference number and get automatically sort of processed, and we now don't have any queue. We've just been through sort of our busiest probably 4 months we've ever had, and there was no real points in there where we were pushed, and so all our work was going out. Previously, it probably would have, the volume that we had going through probably would have had a sort of like a 3 or 4 day backlog on the proofing, whereas it was just a few hours really.
Previously, we would create a proof, a low-res PDF proof, and then somebody would have to go and locate that and email it. They would send that themselves, and then they would get a response back, whether it was good or bad. We moved on from sending individual files to having a group email address where everyone was sending files from. Now, with Review built into Switch, there's a lot of files. They come in, it matches up the XML, it goes all the way through to Review. Review sends the proof out to a customer. The customer approves the job within Review. It comes back, notifies the CSR, and the job continues on from there. There's also a lot of jobs which we still do manually, but the Review allows us to include information regarding, like low-res imagery, color corrections, that sort of thing, which people used to have to type in manually, and now it's from the pre-flighting, the information is just there and it goes to the customer. We still, to a certain extent, do some manual processing, but those are then submitted to the Review, and then the responses, the approvals or the rejections, they don't come back to the operator now, they just go straight into our MIS system, which then triggers other responses. It's not coming back to, it's not getting in that kind of bottleneck within where you're just looking to grab jobs and process them yourself. We had to have a disclaimer on all of our emails saying that you have to view this PDF in Acrobat, not Acrobat Reader, or people would view these things in the Mac preview, and you would always get a completely different result. So everything had to have a disclaimer saying, you know, like you have to view this in this way with these functions on. Now we don't have that. The review in a way is what you see is what you get.
Customers have noticed that we've sort of changed, and so they do notice, and I think they do like the system because they like the proofs to come back quickly, and they didn't like waiting a couple of days for a proof. So if they get it back in an hour or whatever it is, then yeah, they're very pleased. It's definitely helping us to grow and sustain our business. So our sales are probably up sort of 10% in the last year, and the last 4 months we just couldn't have coped without it. I don't know what we would have done. To be perfectly honest, you know, we would have really struggled. We probably wouldn't have taken on as much work as we did. So without a doubt, it's helping us sort of grow our sales and work efficiently. It's very key to us to focus on efficiency, and with things like the Enfocus Switch. I've been talking to Malcolm about how that can integrate with our management system as well. So we're looking at things we can do on that side, not just repro. And then we're looking at a few other projects where we can roll it out within the business and expand what we're doing. And it's all about trying to sort of streamline what we do whilst to enable us to take on a bit more work. So yeah, I see us as being a sort of a strong company at the moment, and getting stronger and getting better at what we do. Without a doubt, the automation has helped us grow because we just couldn't have got through the volume of work that we did in our studio. We'd have had a bottleneck, and we would have, at that point, we would have been able to process a certain amount of work, and then some we would have had to turn down. I think without a doubt it's helped us.